If that's the only thing that's making you not go to the American Institute for Stuttering, you should go, and then you'll want to.
I'm not paying this guy to say this, by the way.
The Subway Challenge, because I have to say, when you first talked about your experience and doing the Subway Challenge, when I say you, I'm talking to Eric. When you talked about doing the Subway Challenge on the first day of the program, I remember thinking to myself, "There's no way I'm going to go and do that," and I was so ready to do it and so excited to do it by the end of the program that it was kind of nuts.
Okay, so but just because I've never been, you know what I mean? So can you operationally define what the Subway Challenge is?
Oh, absolutely operationally define it.
Please, please.
Oh, man.
I know the history of it.
Okay.
Yeah, so a guy named Ben was going through our program a few years ago, and he found things like voluntary stuttering and advertising really, really useful to him personally. Something he hadn't really thought of before, and really used those things and really enjoyed doing those things in the program and found them very liberating for him. When it came to a time of the program where we all go to Macy's together to work on all the different skills that they had learned and going to speak to different employees, and they have a lot of different goals that they have to accomplish in that trip to Macy's, we take a one-stop subway trip from 23rd Street in Manhattan, 6th Avenue, up to 34th Street where Macy's is. So it's one stop, it's a quick subway ride, something we do together. He decided that he was going to use that opportunity not to advertise to one person, but to advertise to an entire subway car.
Yes.
That he had never seen before, and he would likely never see again. So it was stepping out of his comfort zone, stepping out of his box in a way that he had never conceptualized or thought of doing in the past. So that's what Joel decided to take on.
That's the thing, though, is that if you know you're never going to see these people again, in a sense, it's kind of easier.
Oh, but for some it's a lot harder.
For some it's tougher, yeah. So it depends on, I guess, the way you perceive it.
And Karen, who you had on your show and went through the MTV True Life series, she did that challenge, as a lot of people saw on the show. When she left, she said to me, I feel like I can do anything.
Yeah.
Because I just did something that I never, like you were saying, Joel. I mean, when you heard Eric talking about that, you said, "No way, no, I'm never doing that." Yeah,
it sounded horrible.
Yeah, it did sound. But going back to what Greg was saying before, you do know that you're probably never going to see these people again. You know, I've done this thing hundreds of times on the subways in New York, like rush hour traffic. You know, but there certainly is something about it where it gets to a point, doing the advertising on the subway is easier than going up to one person and,
it is.
Having a meaningful conversation with somebody.
Yeah.
Definitely at first it's like, holy really going to do this? Like, but like, and you've done it a couple of times, Joel. Did it get easier as you kept doing it, or no?
I actually only did the Subway Challenge once. I would love to lie right now and say that I did it more, but it was just that last. I mean, I don't live in New York, right?
Well, but we can.
There's no subways in Minnesota.
But we can. Come on. Wait, but don't you guys have the Hall of America?
Yeah, but that's only for tourists.
You stand in the corner,
light rail, whatever it's called.
People are
walking you don't stand in the corner. You stand in the center of the thing.
And the people are so sweet there. They're so nice.
That is true. That is true.
Oh, it's easy.
That is true.
I'm from Minnesota. I was born there. It's in the blood.
No, yeah. I mean, I certainly could have some opportunities to try it again, to do it again.
That's it.
So what else since then?
Well, I do have to say that the intensive program, again, I know it probably sounds like a huge plug, but for anyone that's thinking about it, it was one of the best and most profound experiences of my life. And I was the kind of person that never thought that it would be something that I would want to try. And I think, you know, like I said, a lot of things have happened. I guess I'm not sure where to start. One thing I was just thinking about today a little bit was that when I came back from the program, I think one problem that I had was that I set my expectations a little too high. I think that I was just ready to, you know, set the world on fire, and was a little bit enamored with just the idea of being fluent in general, and kind of forgot about how important it is to do the voluntary stuttering and the entire self-acceptance process, to just say, hey, it's okay to stutter. It's okay when I stutter. I'm not going to let other people's reactions affect me. I think that I was so excited, and I know we kind of talked about this a little bit, Eric, that with some of the new fluency, that when I would get back, when I got back home, I went back to work and I was all fired up, and I picked up the phone to call one of my customers, because I was working as an electrical engineer, and I called them and I was like, wow, this is definitely still very hard, you know, and you have to be okay with that, you know, and it's just, you know, it's a process that I'm accepting, that, you know, there are a lot of challenges, but you definitely need to recognize the positive things that are going on. For example, I've made a couple presentations to some speech language pathology classes at the University of Minnesota, which is something I never would have even considered doing a few months ago.
So, did you get any numbers after any of these presentations?
No, I have not.
Then you're not trying hard enough.
I know.
You're not trying.
I got a beard. I got a ridiculous beard.
Dude,
I was about
first
to
of all,
say, it's the beard, man.
the beard looks great in my opinion, but hey, what do I know?
All my guy friends say that. But it's just something, you know?
Oh, dude.
I don't know. I don't know what it is.
So you were stuttering the first time we interviewed you on Stutter Talk quite a bit.
Yeah.
Right, both overtly, covertly, whatever.
I was keeping count, by the way.
Thanks for reminding me.
And it's because this is something that we do talk about on the show a lot, like the intensive program, and you know, by the end of the intensive program, you were certainly overtly stuttering a lot less, and I think people get this you know, amazing, like incredible Hulk feeling afterwards. And what you were talking about was that back to reality kind of thing, when you go back and, you know, you're not with a group of 7 other stutterers anymore, like going out into the park all together and doing all this stuff. And has that been hard, you know, just adjusting to, you know, making calls at work? This one customer you were talking about.
Yeah, absolutely. I still stutter all the time. Many situations I stutter severely.